Thanks, Bridget. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're very excited to be here. Today's webinar is all about the customer journey, enabling marketing. My name is Megan, and I'm joined today by my partner, a friend, Peter, who is the president and CEO of our agency, GeekHive. And for those of you on the line who don't know who Acquia is, we are a very fast-growing company in the web content management and digital experience space. We were founded to help companies be successful with Drupal, but our business has really expanded to include other complementary services like marketing, personalization, and customer journey technologies, which we're going to talk about today. So during this presentation, we're going to go into detail around how to build effective customer journeys. As we all know, customer engagement happens everywhere. It's on websites, mobile, in retail stores, even on elevators. We recognize that customers expect experiences that are powered by digital and informed by data, and these really need to be tailored to their interests and needs. The challenge, of course, is around technology. Many digital marketers have a lot of different types of tools. They have a lot of content. They have a lot of data. And today, we're really going to plan to cover some of these challenges to building great customer journeys. And our partner, GeekHive, will show how they've really leveraged Acquia Journey in a marketing enablement solution that can really help your own company improve journey-based personalized marketing. So it's no secret, customers are now in the driving seat. We consider this to be a now consumer-empowered world. Brands are expected to reach out with relevant and actionable content at the right time, both digitally as well as on non-digital channels. Personalized engagement is now becoming a mandatory for businesses that want to compete in different markets. And so as a result, marketers and customer experience pros are kind of in this new environment where they're really challenged by all of these channels that they have to manage, all of this different marketing technology and ad tech systems, and really just all of the data that's living across these different systems, and all of the content that has to actually be marketed across these different systems. And so we know that marketers are struggling to really understand their customers because they do have all of this data that's fragmented, and they're trying to bring together all of these different types of sources of data. The key message on this slide is that it's really difficult to deliver contextual content and personalized experiences if your systems and data are in these different silos. And so by prioritizing integrated technologies and connected channels, brands can really start to build and deliver these informed experiences and listen to customer activity across channels so they actually can react to it in real time. And so today, we're going to dive into some connected technologies. We're going to actually get a demo from GeekHive on how this all works. But before we do that, I wanted to set some context for the demonstration. First, we're going to talk about marketing personalization. So as an example, our product, Acquia Lists, marketers can create personalized content and experiences for their customers. Personalization sometimes sounds a little complex, but it's actually pretty easy to do if you have the right technology. This is just a quick example of how List works. You can simply click the slot on a page where content should be displayed. You determine what audience segment it should be targeted to, and then you can map that content to those users with simple drag and drop functionality. And so the next really piece of this with List to help solve the siloed data challenge, and Acquia Journey actually shares the same capability. It's the profile management capability for customer data. And so this feature really allows marketers to easily collect and unify their audience profile and behavioral data into one single profile. And so as customers are identifying themselves, this could be through a form submit or a newsletter download, the profile manager will actually stitch together this data across sessions and devices, merging this anonymous and known user profile, so that in real time, the audiences can be segmented based on their behaviors, and marketers can actually leverage this type of data and reporting to analyze those insights and trends. And so then the next technology we're going to talk to you about is journey orchestration engine technology called Acquia Journey. And so our tool really helps marketers solve kind of this complex issue I talked about around unifying the siloed martech and ad tech data. And so what this tool does is it really, executes real-time logic to deliver the next best action to any channel for kind of the ultimate personalization. And so just to show you a little bit of how it works, Journey can map out intelligent data-driven customer journeys. You can actually use a physical map and map your own journeys. You can also unify the data across those touch points and channels. And then what Journey will do is it will actually trigger the next best action based on the customer's path at the right time. And that really allows a marketer to be able to deliver that one-to-one customer experience in context at any touch point. And it provides you with reporting and analysis capabilities so that you can kind of see how your customers are moving through their own journeys. And so to actually walk through how to make this real, the strategy and the demo, I'm going to introduce Peter from GeekHive, and he's going to walk through how to really help us as marketers enable customer journeys.
Excellent. Thank you, Megan. So just want to talk a little bit about who GeekHive is. GeekHive, we call ourselves the martech enablement company, and we partner with companies to help them fully realize the potential of their marketing technology. We help them connect their people, their processes, and their technology to deliver the right information at the right time to help them build brands, market products and services, and assist the sales organization. And when we talk about this, we kind of talk about the 4 dimensions of marketing technology, which is around customer centricity, digital culture in the organizations that we work with, their digital strategy, their organizational process, and of course, that all sits upon their technology stack. And that technology stack can kind of be broken down into what we call primarily the 5 pillars of marketing technology: customer relationship management, content management, marketing automation, e-commerce, and data and analytics to support that. So I want to tell you a little story that'll help you to understand kind of why GeekHive is the type of company that we are and what we focus on and how we think organizations are best helped through marketing technology. So here's a story from long ago, think kind of circa 2005. A CFO would call a meeting with a CMO and a CTO, and he would say, just for picking a round number, hey, I've got a $3 million budget for you to rebuild your website, and the CMO is going to get $2 million for strategy, creative, and content, and the CTO is going to get $1 million for implementation, software, and infrastructure. And that'll be some type of capital expenditure that it gets amortized over 3 years. Success back then was largely qualitative. Hey, we've got a new site, or we elevated our brand, or customers got a new fresh experience. But then the cloud arrived. In 2006, AWS was released. In 2010, Azure was released. And software as a service kind of started to grow in the marketplace. And if anybody's familiar here with who Scott Brinker is, he produces a document called the martech landscape. Back in 2011, there were 150 products on that martech landscape. In 2018, there were over 7,000. So you can kind of see the growing number of marketing technology products, software as a service that are becoming available. So now we kind of fast forward to now, and the CFO kind of calls another meeting and tells the CTO, hey, there's really no need for you to have a budget for this website build, and it's not capital expenditure anymore. It's now a P&L expense, and all $3 million goes to the CMO over the course of that 3 years at $1 million a year, or $85,000 a month or something like that, and it gets expensed to the P&L, right? It's not a capital expenditure anymore. But the CFO is asking for a different question now. The CFO is not looking for qualitative answers, looking for numbers. Show me the numbers. Tell me what marketing's contribution to revenue is. Tell me what marketing's return on investment is. Additionally, the marketing organization is feeling tons of pressure from the industry. The CMO must digitally mature and digitally transform. And the first thing the CMO does is panics. It's no wonder that the CMO is the shortest tenured role in the C-suite with an average tenure of 42 months, all that pressure. So the CMO thinks, well, martech must be the answer. And they start spending money, millions of dollars and billions of dollars. But over 70% of CMOs say that they're dissatisfied with their martech investments and what the return is. And the spending is continuing to grow. 29% of CMOs are 29% of a CMO's budget right now is being spent on marketing technology. And recent studies suggest that this could be increasing even up to 42% in 2019 and beyond. And all this spending has just created all types of problems: siloed systems, siloed data and reporting, siloed teams. What the CMO needs is connected teams, connected processes, connected technology. That is the promise and the utopia of martech, what everybody hopes for when they go and buy products, is a desire for that marketing technology to kind of bring all the promise that it originally had. So I want to introduce you to a fictitious company called Grandeur. Grandeur is a travel company that sells exclusive guided travel around the world. Their martech stack includes Drupal CMS, Acquia Journey for journey orchestration, Acquia Lift for personalization, Salesforce for CRM, and Marketo for marketing automation. If you'd like to participate as part of this, if you have your phone or an alternate laptop or something like that where you can follow along, we have an application that will show a tracking of this journey that we're going to go through in this demonstration. If you don't worry, we're going to several times throughout the demo jump into this tracker. But if you want to go to geekhive.com/journey, you will be able to follow along with us and watch the journey kind of unfold and see how these tools work together. So here we are on Grandeur's homepage, and we're going to scroll down. And Megan, I'm going to ask you to help me with this demonstration. We've got a handful of tours right now that are available for you to browse. Any of those look interesting to you?
Yes, actually, I would love to see more information on Egypt.
Excellent. So Egypt it is, and we navigate to that page, and we start to consume some of that data. Megan's learning about this trip, and we're learning about Megan. We get to the bottom of this page, Megan, and we see some additional tours that are available for you to view. Any of those look interesting?
Yeah, why don't we go to the beach?
Excellent, the beach. So again, Megan's here consuming data. She's learning about Grandeur. Grandeur is learning about her. So let's jump over to the tracker real quick and look at, if you happen to be looking at the tracker, if you select the top anonymous user right now, you'll be getting access to the profile that's being built in Lyft on this page. So that top anonymous user is Megan's profile. So if we look at our destinations here, we can see that Africa we're building that profile inside of Lyft and gathering that information. And we can also see some engagement history on the bottom, some events that have taken place, and as we're building Megan's profile inside of Lyft. Let's jump back into Grandeur, and let's browse to the top and select destinations. And let's pick something other than Africa. We'll scroll down here. Let's pick something other than Africa just to build some variety in your profile.
Sure. How about Europe?
Excellent. So we click on Europe. We scroll down. We have a few different trips for you to select from. Any of those look interesting? Can you pronounce any of those?
You know what? I'm like, which one can I pronounce? Let's go to the Acquia Antica Resort.
Excellent. So we click on this and we scroll down. And again, Megan's learning about this particular trip, sees another few trips down in the bottom. And any of those look of any interest to you?
Sure. Let's go to the Blarney Castle.
Excellent. So click on the Blarney Castle. Again, building, Megan's learning about some trips that she might be interested in. But if we jump back over into the tracker, we'll see after we refresh that Megan's profile is being built again and Europe is growing. And we're learning some other things about her interest as well. And again, you can see some engagement and event history that's taking place. Just for everybody's understanding, this entire tracker right here is not a product. This is just something we put together for this demonstration and runs completely off of Acquia Journey. So we're pulling data out of these systems for this demonstration. Just a small note on the side that this tracker is actually running by the power of Acquia Journey. So Megan's done for the day researching trips with Grandeur, and a few days later happens to be in Facebook. And if we refresh the screen here, we'll see perhaps some type of ad tech implementation that's delivering ads to social on the right-hand side. And I think what's important to note, Megan brought up earlier when she was talking about Acquia Journey, that a big key to that is how do we create better one-to-one marketing experiences? And in this situation, ad tech would be calling out to Lyft personalization engine through Journey to gather what's Megan's current profile look like? Like, what are the trips that would be of most interest to her based off of her browsing history on Granger's Drupal website? So in this instance, we are calling back into Lyft with Acquia Journey and delivering those ads to this Facebook page. Megan, any of those trips of any interest to you?
Yes, I actually like the top one with the resort and spa.
Excellent. So we clicked on that, and when we land here, we notice that there's an opportunity to sign up for a newsletter. So Megan's going to sign up for her newsletter. And when we submit this form, if you jump back over into the tracker in a second, we'll notice a couple of things have happened. If we scroll down and look at the event history, the engagement history, we'll notice that a person record in Marketo was created. Megan was added to the newsletter sign-up campaign that she signed up for. We also created a lead record inside of Salesforce and de-anonymized Megan's prior anonymous browsing history in Acquia Lyft. All of this was done through that single form submission using Acquia Journey. So if we can just take a quick look at Acquia Journey, we can see, in simplicity, the way this was handled. We received this form submission, the blue box on the left-hand side. We used Acquia Journey to connect to 3 different systems and execute the actions that we wanted to take place in CMS, in Salesforce, and in Marketo. And then lastly, we update the tracker application. Again, as we said, the tracker application is running off of Acquia Journey. So this was not some stock integration. These were all very customized, business case-driven implementations and customer journey actions that took place during that form submission and passed to these 3 different systems. So let's jump real quick over into Salesforce and look at Megan's record that was created. Up top, we'll see Megan's record. If we look, we can see that Granger has basically a 3-phased customer journey that we've created: consideration, interest, and converted. We can see that we're keeping lead score here over in Salesforce as well. This is being shared across all 3 systems actually and managed by Acquia Journey. So every system across our marketing technology stack has knowledge of Megan's lead score at any given time in her journey across that marketing technology stack. Additionally, if we scroll down a little bit here, we'll see that we've also brought in the browsing history, engagement history of Megan's interaction from Acquia, from Drupal, as an engagement history for a salesperson to, if they happened upon Megan's record, would understand what her browsing behavior was to be able to have an intelligent conversation with her. So let's now also just jump over into Megan's email and click on that email. We'll see a couple of things. And again, it's important to note that we're looking at 3 different components of the Granger marketing technology stack. We're looking at Salesforce as a CRM. We're looking at Drupal as your content management system. We're looking at Marketo as your marketing automation platform. So Granger sent this email to Megan and are trying to influence her to make a purchase in the next 7 days by providing a coupon. But more interesting is if you scroll down to the bottom, we'll see some one-to-one personalized email content. So when Marketo is getting ready to send this email out, we leverage Acquia Journey to call into the Lyft personalization engine and say, give us the 3 most relevant trips that might be of interest to Megan based off of her browsing history and everything that we know about her inside of Acquia Lyft. So again, just like we saw before with ad tech, Journey gave us the capability to personalize that ad service. Here in this channel, Journey is providing the opportunity to provide one-to-one marketing in the marketing and email campaign channel, and based off of content that was consumed in the content channel and content management. A fully integrated experience across multiple channels, looking at Megan as kind of a single person, not a customer stuck in different marketing technology silos. So Megan, we have these 3 trips here. Any of these look of interest to you?
Yeah, if I could, I'd actually like to go back to Egypt and the Nile.
Excellent. So let's go to Egypt. And here we are in Egypt, but I want to jump real quick back into Salesforce and refresh Megan's record because some interesting things have happened. So Megan interacted with that email, an email that was sent out and was personalized from the Acquia Lift personalization engine. And now we've informed sales through Acquia Journey. We've informed sales, hey, Megan has made some forward progress in her journey with us. We now see her score has been updated to 15 because she clicked on that link. She's expressing interest. And we've also copied over into this sales record her most interested destination and her interest. But more interestingly, if we look on the right-hand side, we'll notice that a task has been created. Again, this task created through Acquia Journey. Hey, please reach out to Megan. She's interested right now. She is a prospect for us to sell to, and here's some information that's valuable to you. We know what her most interested destination is. We know what her most her highest interest is. And if we scroll down and look at the engagement history, we can look at the details of her email clicks, her browsing history. So if this salesperson were to reach out to her, they could make have an intelligent conversation, collecting data from Megan's interactions across marketing automation, content, and providing that data into sales to intelligently communicate with her. But that SDR, that salesperson's not going to have to call Megan or email Megan. If we scroll down, Megan's is going to decide she's going to book this trip. And when we get to this page, we scroll down, and Megan, we see a couple of recommended add-ons for this tour. Is there anything there specifically that might be of interest to you?
Yeah, how about the tapas and wine experience?
Excellent. So we add that, and additionally, we add your coupon and get our final total. But when we look at that, Megan decides, hey, the $99 just tips me over the edge of my budget, and decides to remove that from her cart. Excellent. And now Megan's going to continue and make her purchase. Now, if we jump back into Salesforce, we'll notice a few things. First, we'll notice that in our journey, our customer journey, Megan has been converted to a purchased customer, somebody who's made a purchase. Additionally, you'll see that her lead score has increased, and there's plenty of things that we can do when we know lead scores increased, but there's something that's a little more interesting here. We can see that there's still a task in Salesforce, but it's not the same task that we had before. Through Acquia Journey, we looked to see if there were any tasks that were farther backwards inside of Megan's journey that we needed to remove from her record, and we put a more appropriate task, or assigned a more appropriate task to the customer service representative to request passport and flight information. But more interestingly, we also are giving that customer service representative some additional valuable information. Hey, please try and upsell Megan. She showed us some interest in a particular upsell, but didn't purchase. And if you look on the additional information section of this, you'll notice that the wine experience that she had selected and then opted out of in the cart is here as part of information for the CSR to try and upsell her when they're collecting that other information from her. So kind of in closing on the demonstration, I want to kind of go back and reflect on what we saw here. We saw Acquia Lift for personalization. We saw Acquia Journey for journey orchestration. Moving information across channels from ad tech to email and marketing campaign management to content to sales, providing all of those different channels, critical information throughout Megan's journey, making a purchase of her trip, which gave her a much better experience when she was making her purchase and not feeling like she's having communications with Granger's different components of technology. And that's it for the Granger demo. I think that we'll jump back into the presentation here. I think we have some time for questions now.
That sounds great. And actually, if you want to go one slide forward, you're going to see a URL there. It is geekhive.com/journey. And I advise everyone, if you're interested in learning more, go to that URL. It's a great resource. You can, of course, go to acquia.com/journey too. Yep.
And if you go to the bottom of that page, that will show you the tracker. There's, if you really want to learn in more detail about how we do accomplish these types of engagements with our customers, there's an ebook available at the bottom of that tracker page located at that URL.
Great. Okay, so let's start Q&A. Here's the first question. Peter, how long does it take to implement something like this?
Right, so we find that we're able to help customers in pretty short order, get the value out of these types of integrated, personalized experiences. We've been in situations where we've helped measured in weeks and not months, where we come in, analyze what some of the highest value impact things we can do early in that process and get those journeys integrated, that personalization integrated. We're measuring things in weeks, and months, not months and years, if that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. And here's another one. So you showed us the connected systems. How can we get help with removing organizational silos?
So I think it's, the first step to that is understanding what we call three components, and we call them building a digital roadmap. Is we understand what our digital now is, and we understand what our digital future is, and then we build a roadmap between those two things. And a component of that is people and process. De-siloing technology is almost a symptom of making sure that we de-silo the understanding of the customer across channels. So it's helping those different channels understand what a unified view of that customer is, and then assigning how we communicate between those different channels or different interests that people might have, and then providing supporting technology underneath that through integration.
Great. So this is another question. Is data managed through a cloud system? Are there limitations? Yes, the data is managed through a cloud system. This is the profile manager capability that I mentioned a little earlier. It's a shared capability that's available with both Lift and Journey. So this is a tool that we have that allows really that unification of data so that you can bring in data from different sources and you can create a unified customer profile. And there really aren't any limitations.
Nope.
So.
Yep.
Okay, looking at another question, can Lift work in conjunction with the Marketing Cloud? We saw Salesforce today. Is there a certain, if you could reply with a certain type of feature of the Marketing Cloud, but yes, it can work with the Marketing Cloud. Peter, I think you mentioned this. Where can people learn more about MarTech enablement?
If you just go to the GeekHive website, geekhive.com, there's plenty of access to our thinking around MarTech enablement, what our process looks like. Certainly, like I said, the download available both on our website and on that URL that was provided that the tracker runs on.
Okay. I have another question here. This is from Matthew. The ease of integrating Marketing Cloud is an email automation solution.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is one of the most attractive things for GeekHive that we found with regards to Acquia Journey is the ease of creating connections between, a whole host of technology. As far as our experiences, is there isn't any technology that we can't integrate, and really the bigger thing is about figuring out what to do, not how to do it. The journey makes the integration pretty easy. It's about what's the right thing to do. Like if you noticed in the demo, there were those times where you know, a particular task was assigned to a salesperson at one point in your journey, and then later you moved to a different place in your journey, you know, assigning a different task to you, to that salesperson, is the thought that has to happen. Like, how do we want the customer's experience to progress, and the players in the organization to interact with the customer? It's making those decisions that are the most important. The technology integration is actually fairly, you know, is easy with Acquia Journey. It's a really robust and flexible tool.
Great. We have a question from Madeline. I can answer this one. So does Lyft have an embedded DMP? And I would say that Lyft actually works with DMPs. What Lyft really does is augment and integrate that data from other sources like a Marketo or Google Analytics that you saw today. It does have the embedded cloud data warehouse that really stores this information, and all of these are profile information, so you can't have it in one place. Another question, can Lyft work with HubSpot? If not, is there a timeline for integration? So you could, if you wanted to use that as your automation platform, and same thing with Journey, if you want to be able to use HubSpot to automate email sends. One question, another one from Megan. This would be a good one for you, Peter. Do customer journeys self-learn, or do learnings have to be analyzed to drive changes in journeys?
So I think, you know, you start with a hypothesis, right? You build an understanding the best that you can based off your experience with your customer as to what that journey is. And then as you integrate things and begin to build these systems and process to integrate and provide a better customer journey, you're going to learn things and you're going to make modifications. So it's, you know, the view here is you take your best understanding of what you believe the customer journey is, map that out, figure out what the key touch points are that you're going to want to have across the different channels, implement them, learn, and refine.
Great. A question from Tony, what martech platforms are able to be connected? Really, it's kind of everything that you can think of. It's all different kinds of systems. You can have social, so, you know, integrating a LinkedIn, a Facebook. You can have analytics. So if you want to be able to leverage, you know, IBM Watson as an example, you can integrate SMS chat so that you can have chats being sent, and then based on those certain triggers in a customer journey, it will be able to know the right channel to trigger based on that own individual pathway. There's quite a few. Yeah, and
I would just interject and say that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that comes right out of the box with Journey with regards to integration points already kind of being part of the product, you know, out of the box. But on top of that, pretty much any product that has an open API, you can write you know, a connection to with relative ease. So if there isn't a connect to a particular product currently, we've written plenty of them ourselves, you know, custom for different customers, even into, you know, custom internal systems that are not productized. We've had customers that have had situations where they have custom systems that they built internally that we've written integration points through Journey for.
Cool. Well, we have a lot of questions. I think we do have some time. So another question, are there any ready-to-use templates available with Acquia Journey?
Yeah, I mean, there's as far as the journeys themselves, it's much better to come up with ones that are appropriate for your organization, and they're fairly easy. Again, you can build pretty lightweight journeys pretty easily. So the answer with Journey, at least in my experience, is not, hey, this is a whiz-bang thing that we just kind of plug in and it does something for us. It's try to figure out what the meaningful things are that matter to your company and implement those kind of slowly across time is what we found to be better.
Great. Okay, so this is another integration question. How does the system work with on-prem CRM systems, databases, DAMs? Does this run in parallel to targeted marketing programs with live APIs for contact and response history?
I mean, as long as Acquia Journey can have a pathway, and we've been in situations where people, customers have, closed networks, and they, will either create some type of VPN I very frankly, there's other more technical people that can answer the details to it, but there are ways to call into on-prem, products like in any other situation. Again, if you think about Acquia Journey as a tool for, for touch points and grabbing and moving data around, and based off of the orchestrated journey that you want to have, it's a great integration tool is essentially what it does. And finding the pathway into your internal network is an implementation detail that would have to be worked out, but we've done it and see it.
Cool. Another question, oops, I just lost it. The chat is lots of questions. Thank you guys. We really appreciate this. This is exciting. Which parts are configurable with Acquia Journey and other tools, and which ones are custom built? I think this is in reference to the demo that you showed today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, think of Acquia Journey as an enablement tool. So I think we used some out-of-the-box graphs or connectors to Marketo and Salesforce, and probably made some modifications to them. The Journey connection to Lyft is out of the box, and it works and does what it needs to do without any modification. So I think we use the Marketo connector as a baseline, and the Salesforce connector, and maybe made some small modifications. But there's, again, those connectors are all pretty much there out of the box right to begin with.
Cool. Okay, we answered this one. Are there any limitations on using Journey? For an example, a limitation on the event history number?
Not sure I understand the core of the question there.
Theo, this one was yours. If you could reply with and some more clarification, we'd love to answer that. Okay, another question we have: how can this be scaled up to manage multiple similar contacts rather than one at a time?
Yeah, I mean, again, the reality is that it's an integration tool. So you can write, at any given time, a process that can enact Journey execution across groups of records rather than just across individual records.
Okay. So we have time for probably one more question. Thanks, Theo. Okay, so in terms of the limitations, I'll go back to that one. Are there any limitations on using Journey? For example, limitations on the event history number, and then clarification in terms of limitations on the data kept inside of Journey.
So Journey really doesn't keep a lot of data inside of it. It's actually mostly a tool for moving data around, right? So the idea is you create a strategy for where your data is stored, for what information. So like in the demo, you saw you saw personalization information is stored in Lyft. And when we wanted to grab that personalization information, let's say over in marketing automation, we use Journey to say, hey, go get that for me from the place where it's supposed to be stored. So Journey's not really a tool for storing data. It's mostly a tool for moving data around. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you all. We really appreciate your attention and your eagerness to answer and ask some questions. Really appreciate it. We will be sending out the recording as well as the presentation. If you have any additional questions, please do reach out. You can email marketing@acquia.com is an easy way, or you can just reply off of the back of that email. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.